Echo Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Talking Friars pregame show, September 24th, 2022. We got the Padres and the Rockies tonight. 5:10 is the first pitch. It'll be Yu Darvish on the mound against Chad Cole. Last time the Padres faced Chad Cole, they smashed him. That was July, or was it? No, it was August 3rd. They were at Petco Park. That was the Juan Soto, Brandon Drury, Josh Bell debut game. Cole went 5 innings. Padres scored 9 earned runs off of him. So you hope that happens today. They're at Coors Field. But as we saw yesterday, they're facing a guy with a 5+ ERA, and they scored 3 runs off of him. So, or was it? It was 2 runs technically, because Soto's home run was off a reliever in the 8th inning, whenever that was. So obviously you hope for a better performance from the lineup today, and it's a little bit of a different lineup. I know that Chad Cole's a righty, and so you're going with the matchups and all that, but I am surprised to see Trent Grisham in the lineup against Chad Cole. Sure, he's hitting .375 off of Cole in his career, but it is 8 at-bats, and I think that Jose Zokar is just the better guy to have in the lineup right now. I would have went with the Zokar regardless of the matchups, just because he's on a an 8-game hitting streak. He's just doing better at the plate than Trent Grisham is. But obviously, Bob Melvin liked the matchup, left versus right, and you can have a Zokar be a pinch runner later in the game, or have him come and play center field later in the game, or get in the lineup later in the game. But he thought that Trent Grisham is the better guy to have in there in center field today. So he's in there. Nola's catching, which isn't a surprise. I know I saw some people in the comments to the Padres lineup post that wanted Campy in there. That's never going to happen. Yu Darvish, unless an injury. Darvish, he pitches to Nola. Darvish has so many pitches that he has a personal catcher, and that's Austin Nola. So I'm not surprised by that. Again, 5:10 is the first pitch today. Rockies looking for their 66th win of the year. Padres looking for their 84th win. Entering today, the Padres had a half-game deficit. Phillies had a half-game lead on the Padres for the second wild card, and the Padres have a 2-game lead on Milwaukee for a playoff spot. Milwaukee, I believe, is playing right now. Cincinnati is up 1-0. So that's good for us, but obviously that's just the start of the game. And relying on the Reds to win games, that's not the best thing. Joey Votto's hurt. I don't even know who they have on their team anymore. Tommy Pham's not there, obviously. He's in Boston. They're not a good team, so I wouldn't rely on Cincinnati winning against Milwaukee. Padres just have to win today. Yu Darvish is on the mound. It's win day. Magic number to clinch a postseason spot is still 9. I put this on Twitter earlier today. If the Padres go 6-5 in their last 11 games, and Milwaukee goes 8-3, they do good in their last 11, Padres still would make the postseason. So I'm still confident they will make the postseason. Some people will say it's still too close for comfort. I'm going to wait to say that until after this series is over. What does it look like then? Especially after the Dodgers series, what does it look like then? Because that's the Padres' toughest opponent remaining. And see how close that gap is after the Padres face the Dodgers and Milwaukee got to face a couple easier opponents. So I'm going to wait to say it's too close for comfort. I know it's 2 games. It doesn't feel like a lot, but I think we got to wait till the end of the series to start, really judging on that. Padre pick today is Jake Cronenworth. He's batting 4th today. Yesterday it was Soto. Or excuse me, last game it was Soto. I didn't have a pregame show live stream yesterday. Wasn't feeling too well, so I did not have a Padre pick yesterday, but my last Padre pick that I did have was Soto. That was on, I believe, was that Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. He did not get a hit, so I'm 94-51 so far this season. When I am picking guys to get a hit, I'm going to go with Crony today. Has a good matchup Against Chad Kuhl, he is hitting 500 off of him in 10 at-bats. Padres lineup, Profar's leading off in left field. Soto is in right. Manny's at third. Crony's at second base. Brandon Drury's at first. Josh Bell is DHing. Ha-Sung Kim is at shortstop, batting seventh. As I discussed earlier, Grisham's in center. He's batting eighth. And then Nola catching Darvish. He is batting ninth. I was surprised with the Grisham thing, but not really surprised with much else lineup-wise. Will Myers doesn't have a hit off of Chad Kuhl in his career. Even though he does hit well at Coors Field, he's only played one game. I think yesterday was his first game at Coors Field so far this season. That's because when they played there in June and July, Myers was out with that knee injury. And I'd rather have Brandon Drury in the lineup right now than Will Myers. I know you could say, "Oh, would you rather have Josh Bell over Brandon or Josh Bell over Will?" I think that's more debatable, but I'd probably still go with Josh. Rockies lineup, Ryan McMahon's leading off. Jonathan Daza is in center. McMahon's at third, by the way. Grichuk's in right. Blackman was in there. He was not in there last night. Neither was Ryan McMahon, who obviously is leading off, like I said. Michael Toglia is at first. Alan Trejo, who walked off last night, he's at second base. Ezekiel Tovar, multiple hit game yesterday in his big league debut. Manaea was giving him some pretty good pitches to hit. He's batting seventh at short. Sean Bouchard is in left, batting eighth. And then Brian Servin is catching, and he is batting ninth. Chad Kuhl, a 5.48 ERA this year. Hasn't done so great in his last few starts. Well, I mean, he has not thrown a shutout since June 27th. So that's good for the Padres, I guess. July 3rd, 5 earned runs. July 8th, 4 earned runs, 3 earned runs against the Padres at Coors. July 13th. July 24th at Milwaukee. Didn't even make it through 3 earned runs. Dodgers, July 29th, 5 earned runs against the Padres. Last time he faced the Padres at Petco, 5 innings, 9 runs. Then the Mets, August 26th, 3 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs and 4 2/3 against Atlanta, 5 runs, September 6th against Milwaukee, 3 runs, 6 1/3 against the White Sox, and then last start didn't even make it through 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, gave up a home run, 1 walks, 8 hits. So this is definitely a guy the Padres should be able to score runs off of. Again, he has not thrown a shutout. He's allowed at least 3 runs in each of his last, each of his last 11 starts. Batters in his last 11 starts are hitting 327 off of him with a 1,038 OPS. So I know this kind of sets up whenever we say, "Oh, well, the pitching matchup here looks really favorable for the Padres." It ends up not working out. But I mean, this has to work out for the Padres. You got the Brewers are facing they are Milwaukee. The Brewers are facing the Reds, and so you'd think they're going to win. Padres have their ace on the mound against Chad Kuhl, who they smashed last time they faced him. You got to win this game here to at least get the magic number down to 8. If you're expecting Milwaukee to win, so get that number down to 8. Get it at least 1 down every day. That's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, today out of this team, again, I'm not expecting the Reds to win today. They are winning the last time I checked. But yeah, they got to win. They got to win this series, I think. Mike says, let Will DH. Gil's joking here. Says, let Will Myers catch. Yeah, Nola's catching. I know some people wanted Campy, but again, Darvish is pitching. They're not going to have Campy go catch Darvish. Darvish is your ace. You need Darvish to pitch to the guy he wants to pitch to. You need Darvish to pitch to the guy that he's most comfortable with. And you need Darvish to have probably a quality start today. Or, well, not probably, at least a quality start. Because yesterday, Manaea didn't get through 4. That taxed the bullpen. They had 6 guys throw yesterday: Johnson, Suarez, Wilson, Morhone, Garcia, and Hader. The good news is Hader only threw 8 pitches. Garcia only threw 10, so they'd be available today. But Morhone's probably not. Back-to-back days he's thrown. Wilson, 23 pitches yesterday. Suarez, 26. So hopefully they can get Darvish. They can get like 6 innings out of Darvish. And then 7, 8, 9, you could go Martinez, Hill, or you could go Hill, Martinez, Hader, assuming they have a lead. Or you could go Martinez or Garcia, Martinez, Hader. But I would expect Martinez to pitch today. He's had a day off. And you'd think Tim Hill would get in there at some point, whether that's in the 7th inning to finish off the 7th for Darvish or in the 6th inning. Who knows? But I really hope that Darvish can go 6, at least 6 strong innings and allow like 1 or 2 runs, even if it is at Coors Field, because that's what we should expect from him. He's been really good this month. He's allowed 3 runs this entire month. 3 runs in 27 innings. His ERA is 1 so far this month. Last start against the Diamondbacks, 6 innings, no runs. The start before that, 8 innings, no runs against Seattle. Those 2 starts earned him the Player of the Week last week. So has not allowed a run in his last 14 innings, at least. And even the start before that against Arizona was a quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs. Start before that, 7 innings, no runs. So he's been really good this September. That's what we should expect out of Darvish, is a really strong start tonight. I know that the Rockies order, at least on paper, it looks better than it was yesterday. It's still not like it's the Dodgers order, you know. The Seattle lineup is better than the Rockies lineup, and he threw 8 shutout innings against them. So that's my expectation. If you have a lesser expectation than I do, which is 6, hopefully 7 innings, 2 runs, maybe less, hopefully less, then I don't think you're holding Darvish to a high enough expectation, to be honest, with where the season's at. So again, the number to clutch is still 9. And with that said, let's get to the chat. Mike says, Bob Melvin, enough with the matchups already. Hasn't worked all season. Hot hitter, can hit, period. I think you're talking about Azokar. I would agree with that. I think Azokar should be in there. But Grisham does have good numbers against Chad Kuhl, so I assume that's why he's in there. Padres, by the way, they have won 1 game at Coors Field this year. I think, is it 1-7? 1-7 or 1-8? I think it's 1-7. I think it was 1-6 entering yesterday. So yeah, not pretty. I agree with this, Mike. Colorado, Cincinnati have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You hate playing teams like this. Yeah. What they have to gain is more like personal stuff. Like those rookies, guys that are just being called up, like that Tovar kid, trying to earn a spot or have an edge on a spot going into next year's spring training. Little things like that. It's not like, you know, Rockies and Reds, they have something to earn, something to go get, in the standings. Their season's over. They're just playing free, I guess, right? And the Padres, they're not the team that's playing free. They'll tell you that they're playing free, but they're probably not. All right. Any more questions in the chat here? If you want to support the channel, you can use that super chat button, the $sign. You can use the super thanks button on regular videos on YouTube. I encourage you to check out the Greg Garcia interview that I did yesterday. Former Padre Greg Garcia. He was teammates with Manny, Crony, a lot of guys, not a lot, but some of the guys on this team in 2019 and in 2020. Talked about Manny and the narrative, the wrong narrative that continues to float out there, on social media and stuff about him. Talked about Crony and his development. Greg said how proud he is of Crony bouncing back after not the best start to this season, but he's a 2-time All-Star now. Also talked about what he thought of this year's team and if they can beat anyone. or can they beat anyone but the Dodgers? We'll see. So that's episode 236. You can check that out here on YouTube and on podcast platforms. Totally forgot what I was just going to say, so I'll go to the chat here. Chase says, "Do you think we will make the playoffs?" Yes. I am choosing to be optimistic. Too close for comfort. I don't want to go that far right now. I want to see how the rest of this series against Colorado plays out. They can still go win these 2 games, and we'll feel better about that before the off day, before the Dodgers series, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, I will continue to say I think they will make the playoffs. Like, they have the edge. If you weren't here before, last 11 games, the Padres go 6-5, only 1 game over 500. I feel that's doable. The way the starting pitching's going, excluding Manaea, and the bullpen's solid, the lineup's still solid. If they can go 6-5 the last 11, Milwaukee would have to go 8-3 to make the postseason. Or excuse me, if they go 8-3, the Padres would still make the postseason. Milwaukee would have to go 9-2 to make the postseason over the Padres. If the Padres just go 6-5, so I think that's definitely doable. Padres have the advantage, and yeah, I'm still comfortable, confident this team will make the postseason. All right. At Talking Friars for the in-game clips on Twitter, also on Instagram as well. I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. Padres content every day. I'm Ben Fadden, your host, signing off here for this pregame show. Padres Rockies, 5:10's the first pitch. Enjoy it tonight. See ya.